SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Engineering, Medical and Health Sciences, Management, Dental, Science and Humanities, Law, Agriculture Sciences, Hotel Management. Admissions open.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. SRM Institute of Science and Technology presents the Virtual Conclave for Career Guidance, powered by The Hindu. Today, we will be discussing how to help students navigate the uncertainties in this pandemic. I'm Radhika Santanam, Assistant Editor with The Hindu, and I will be moderating the panel today. Each speaker today will speak for about 10 minutes, and then we will open the floor to questions. I will be starting today by introducing the distinguished speakers whom we have here. Nandini Raman is a consultant counselor, a corporate trainer, and a columnist with The Hindu educational supplement. She is a guest faculty at many prestigious banks, schools, and educational institutions. Some of her clients include Cognizant, Accenture, Ability Foundation, Johnson & Johnson, Philips, Amazon, Canara Bank of India, and others. She also runs her own employee assistant programs for specific clients. She is also a consultant at many schools and colleges in the city, including Harishri Vidyalaya, AMM, Abacus Montessori, Stella Maris College, MOV Vaishnav, and others. She regularly conducts teacher orientations and sensitization workshops to enable and empower teachers to bring out the best in their students and in themselves. Previously, she was an assistant professor and the university counselor for Satyabama University, Chennai for 3 years. Next, we have the distinguished Dr. Lakshmi Vijay Kumar, the founder of Sneha, an NGO in Chennai for the prevention of suicide. She is the head, Department of Psychiatry, Voluntary Health Services, Adyar, Chennai. She is a member of the WHO's International Network for Suicide Research and Prevention. Dr. Vijay Kumar is an honorary associate professor in the University of Melbourne, Australia, and honorary adjunct professor at the University of Griffith, Australia. She has been conferred honorary fellowship of the Royal College of Psychiatrists, UK, for her work on suicide prevention, and has also been conferred the FRCP. She is awarded the Ringel Service Award by IASP in June 2015. She has published widely in peer-reviewed journals and has authored several chapters and edited 2 books. Thank you, ma'am. Next, we have Prince Kalyanasundaram, the country representative of India for NASPA Student Affairs Administrators in Higher Education, the US. He is presently the Deputy Director of Student Affairs, SRMIST. He is the Advisory Board Member, MEA-NASA, which is the Middle East, North Africa, and South Africa region of NASPA, the US. He is a seasoned university student affairs and welfare management professional with over 20 years of administrative and teaching experience, combined both at the national and international level. Thank you, sir, for having us today. We will start today's session with Ms. Raman.
Thank you very much, Radhika. It indeed is my complete honor and privilege to be a panelist amongst such, revered people. Thank you for inviting me. And I'd specifically like to talk about, everything that the students have experienced and undergone the last 13 months plus with the pandemic, something which was completely unprecedented, something that has, gripped all of us. And yet, as thankful as we are to technology, that yes, there have been classes, there have been so much learning that has been, organized. I still feel that there has, it's been overwhelming to say the least. It is fatiguing attending online seminars, workshops, whatever it is you want to call it. I think somewhere the children and the students, be it from the first years, first sem new joinees, right up until the eighth sem final year students, are so overwhelmed and really heading into a burnout situation. And as a practicing counselor, I think there has been an upsurge in the kind of cases, certainly across the student community and certainly amongst young adults. Specifically, I think a few things that have really, gone up is everything from anxiety, aggression, being demotivated, not staying productive. I think also their ADLs, right? Activities of daily living is just out of the window because there's no discipline. I have to wake up at this time. I have to, attend a class at this time. So they are gaming till like wee hours in the morning. They are waking up whenever they want, so the sleep cycle is completely amiss. And then they of course wake up completely groggy, irritated, frustrated. And I think there are also a lot of fractured relationships at home, walking on eggshells, not able to step out, meet their friends. And this has only increased, the kind of distress that the young adults are actually going through and experiencing. I think in addition to that, there is also, a complete breakdown of relationships where they're not able to go and hang out with their friends, attend college, because I think beyond education, there is a lot of socialization, there's a lot of, cultural experience that college life offers. And I think that has been a complete mess. So there are also students who really enjoy going into college, not purely for academics, and never mind. But I think it's been really, really challenging for the others as well to stay focused, to make sure that they are with the class, And I think online learning, as grateful as I am to the platform, it has really been a farce of sorts, if I may, say that on camera, because we know, what the students are up to. I have two elderly teenagers myself at home, and I know what's happening when, they are attending online schooling. So it has certainly been a challenge. And I think also, somewhere parents are also at their wits' ends. They don't know how to keep them motivated. There is no, consistency. There is no routine that, children have been following. And I'm just really, really waiting to hear from, the participants and the audience, and especially the students, what are, their specific difficulties in addition to everything that I have mentioned, because these have been turbulent times for them. I have a few clients, who have the resources, and they have actually been able to fuel, and get their projects off the, a road. They have been able to complete. They have been able to solicit help. But what about the others who don't have resources like this? What about students who really need the lab and the faculty support? And I think it's also been testing and fatiguing for the faculty, because I think this is again something that we have been pushed to learn this online platform, to make the class interesting. It's not just about, finishing coursework, but also to give them real time experiences. I think there are a lot of students who are so uncertain about, what does the future hold for me? What are the kind of job opportunities that are looking up? Is it going to be safe? How do I keep myself positive and afloat? And I think this is in turn taking a toll on pretty much everybody's mental health, right? And for someone like me who's been working out of the work from home situation, if my work has gone up 2x or 3x, you can just imagine what is it that we are talking about. The other thing which is really, really alarming and disturbing for me personally is, I think, the kind of, we don't have clarity in terms of when are the exams going to be conducted, when does the, term or the semester end, when is the next term starting. And I think that is also kind of, induced in children complacency, where I don't need to work hard because, hey, at best, everybody is going to go to the next sem. So the exams have not been announced. Some universities and colleges have, some haven't. There's just complete chaos, And I feel that is a bigger monster that we are actually facing, because how do you rekindle that fire in their belly that, what, you have to study and work hard. Hard work is a value that's never going to go out of fashion and vogue. And I think those are points which have been really, really difficult, even working with one-on-one clients. How do you motivate them to tell them that, what, this too shall pass, hang in there, hit some form of exercise, take care of your physical health, make sure you're sorting out your immunity. What are the kind of addictions that you're actually slipping into? And when I'm saying addictions, I'm not only talking of substance, I'm not only talking of alcohol and weed and other kind of substances available out there. I'm certainly also talking about the kind of food that you're engaging with, right? What is it, how is your sugar spike been, how much have you been how much coffee have you been consuming, and so on and so forth. So I think it's really, really important that individuals are mindful and are able to follow some level of consistency, discipline. I wake up at this time, I do this, I can also binge. I think the next big real time issue that we have as educators, counselors, social workers, is really working with students and young adults on tech addiction, screen gadget addiction, because learning is online, recreation is also online. So what is it that you can do to keep yourself afloat? So physical is one part of it, emotional, social, and certainly psychological. So I think, yes, it is concerning. And also the kind of relationships that you share with the family. Now, how much of this is something that you can go and talk to your family about, right? What are the kind of what is the kind of modeling or behavior that you are actually picking and noticing at home? So if you have a parent who's really anxious about contracting COVID, or you have lost a loved one, they are grieving themselves. So are they able to actually support this child, wherever the child is, right? 18, 19, 20, going through so much. It's so overwhelming for the young adult. But all I want to say and, use this platform for, is that help is available. And I really want to drive this message that have the courage to put your hand up, because help is available. And it's not about, going and seeing a fancy counselor and, saying, I don't have the money for the fees. There are helplines, people have stepped up, there is so much that the community is doing. So if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel that previously you have been productive, if you really believe that these are behaviors that I'd never had, but I can see myself spiraling, please get help, because help is available and accessible. But when I look at 700 participants, I don't know who's going through what, right? So have the courage and nip it in the bud when it is fixable. Don't let it snowball into a mental illness. But I also want to tell you that, yes, depression, anxiety is fixable, curable. But I'm sure my mentor, Dr. Lakshmi, is going to talk more about that. So yeah, I think just have courage and hang in there, this too shall pass. The way I look at it is, identify your silver linings. We've always cribbed, whined, and moaned about not having enough time. Now you have so much time. What is it that you're doing with this time? What about the other certifications? What about the other courses that you wanted to do, that you kept saying you don't have the time and the space and the bandwidth for? What about, trying your hand at baking, reading, starting a new hobby, some interest, gardening, taking care of, street animals, making sure that they have water in this crazy summer. So I think we need to just dip in, introspect, and make sure that we are still able to stay sane, and we're still able to bounce back from whatever it is, that life is putting us through. And we are not alone. I think globally, worldwide, everybody has been impacted. So to look at it in that sense of oneness, that we are in it together. But of course, only the tough will survive. So step up and look after yourself. And yeah, that's all that I had to say.
Thank you, Ms. Raman, for that. We will now move to Dr. Vijay Kumar.
Sure.
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to be here with all of you. And I think it's Nandini has really brought forward that what really affects us is the uncertainty of the times. See, as human beings, we'll be able to cope when we know an answer one way or another. But when you don't know the answer, when there is uncertainty, then we don't know what to do, and coping becomes difficult. I would probably highlight and talk about the issue of problematic internet use and internet addiction, because what has been shown is that if the prevalence of problematic internet use and addiction was about 6 to 8% before COVID, Indian studies have shown that during the COVID or during this lockdown and COVID, it has gone up to 25 to 28%. So that's almost a 3-4 times increase in problematic internet addiction and problematic internet use and addiction. See, the problem is internet is good. It is important. It has helped us survive this. We are able to order groceries. We are able to order food. We are able to have classes. We are able to connect with people. All that is fantastic. But at the same time, we also have to know that gaming, gambling, cyberbullying, and what shall I say, other kinds of activities have also increased. See, for example, if you take the gaming part of it, we find that there is the gaming companies are the ones which have made millions of money during this COVID time, and they are very smart. They make it so addictive that you don't even know that you're addicted. For example, I'm not naming any particular game. See, parents think, okay, it is not violent game. It is building blocks, something like Minecraft, but it is extremely addictive. The children become totally addicted to that. Okay. And gambling. Many students have, I'm sure you have read in the papers how they have taken money from parents and gambled with friends and things like that. They are not, this has led to kind of behaviors which they have never done before. And what we have seen, the percentage increase is that gaming and gambling has increased. There is a gender difference here. Gaming and gambling has increased tremendously amongst the boys, whereas social networking, consumption of social networking sites has increased tremendously amongst the girls. Forever they are on WhatsApp or Instagram or Facebook, and to the extent that they are more in the virtual world rather than in the real world. And cyberbullying. The fact is that we have found, there are studies, we have found that 1/3 of students, young people in the net are cyberbullied, and 1/3 of them are suicidal. And the fact is, as Nandini said, they have difficulty in reaching out for help. This particular age group have great difficulty in reaching out for help. But imagine 1/3 of the students being cyberbullied and 1/3 of them being suicidal. And then the other thing which is really disturbing is the sites, some of the sites with explicit sexual content. And there are a lot of predators waiting, and many young, innocent boys and girls are caught into it. I'll just like to share a couple of instances where a girl who started out as a friend, with somebody, and slowly it became transformed into sexting. And then he said, just I want to see your, nude and things like that. And she removed and showed. And then he captured it and then started blackmailing. And because of the blackmail, the child started stealing, taking gold chains, giving, and it never stopped. At the end of it, he threatened that he will publish the whole thing to the entire community. So she attempted suicide. Okay. And there is another the side. Many of this is an age when there is the hormones surge. Okay. But there is no let out for the hormones now. Okay. Because of the current situation. They are not able to do physically be active. They are not able to do, have friendships with the opposite sex and so on and so forth. So many boys have started watching pornographic stuff now. And this young boy who's only 15 or 16, okay, saw a pornographic site, felt that his size was small and that YouTube showed how to increase the size. So he tried that, landed in a problem, and it became inflamed. So, and he has heard that his grandmother has put sundabu, to make it better. So he put that, and it became completely worse. And now he's left with a scar. So these are the kind of things which are extremely difficult for the children to cope, because they are at an age when, see, for example, this is the age when they have to deal with changes in their body, changes in their social network, changes in their educational systems, everything. And on top of this, when you get stuck into these kind of issues, then naturally anxiety and depression and everything goes on. As they said, anxiety is very common. And in depression, many people don't recognize depression in young people, because it is not the classical depression of somebody sitting alone and crying and not being interested. They mostly act out, become irritable, they become angry, they don't want to eat, they don't want to do anything, So it is anger against the world kind of a thing. So they think the child is, or an adolescent is acting out, okay, without realizing that the child is going through depression. The other issue which we are seeing is the fact that the social fabric is shattered. Okay, the social fabric is shattered, and they don't know how to cope. And so the result is they get friendly with a lot of virtual friends, but they don't have any real-time friends. Okay, real friends, and we do not even know who these virtual friends are. What is their age? What is their interest? Nothing we know. So many of them get stuck with relationships, which instead of forming friendships, they start relationships and then get up into issues. So how do we, I have 10 minutes, so I don't want to go on about the problems which I'm sure everybody is facing. The most important thing is, how do we handle this? Okay, as all of you know, the children are at the crossroads. The future is uncertain. Okay, they don't know whether. See, we are saying you have to concentrate and study, but they turn back and said, "What is the point in studying if there are no exams? If I can't go to the institution which I want to study? Where is the motivation for me?" So it is a challenging time for us to see how we can motivate the children. Okay. The first thing we have to say is to remove the anxiety about the future. Okay. It's very easily said than done. Even adults are anxious about the future. Okay. And all I can say is, Dan Zarda said, worrying is misuse of imagination. Okay. So don't use your imagination, misuse your imagination and worry. Use your imagination for something positive. Use your imagination. Imagine yourself to be what you want to be. Imagine yourself to be in the place where you want to be. Imagine yourself to be in the group you want to be. Imagine a positive future. Okay. The next thing is, this is the time. See, how we can cope with this uncertain times is by three things. One is improving your abilities, being more flexible, and being more responsible. These are the three things which will help us to go through these uncertain times. See, the only the how can we increase abilities? Okay. See, now fortunately, as I said, the positive side of uh, this lockdown and quarantine and virtual thing is that there are a lot of avenues which are open now, which was not open before. Like many libraries in the world have made it open. Many artists are giving classes free. Many musicians are giving classes free. And so you can try out a lot of things and see which one catches your fancy and improve your ability. So when we have a confidence that we are improving our ability, our self-esteem improves. When you learn driving a car, you felt good. When you learn driving a motorbike, you felt good because you have mastered something, right? So develop some kind of mastery on anything. So when you do that, your self-esteem improves. When your self-esteem improves, all the negative emotions will come down. The next is to be flexible. Many of us become very rigid, or even the parents are very rigid, and this is what you should do, this is how you have to study, this is how where you have to go and do. And most of that are not in our hands now. It has changed. The requirements have become different, the study pattern has become different, the courses have become different. So you must be flexible, and you must be flexible enough to say that I will take whatever comes and I will make it good. So whatever I am dealt with, I will do it good. Instead of being fatalistic and say I didn't get what I wanted, there's no point in doing anything else. Okay. You have to be more flexible. Okay. In fact, forget about the pandemic. People say that the next generation of leaders are people who can adapt quickly. So if you are able to adapt quickly, you are likely to succeed more. So learn to adapt yourself quickly to situations and see what best you can do under the circumstances. The third is responsibility. Okay. See, unfortunately, this generation is what I would call as a instant generation. They've got everything instantly. Instant message, instant coffee, instant love, and instant hate also. Okay. So if you don't like a friend, you can just delete. Okay. But life is not like that. Particularly career and relationship, you have to work hard, you have to fall down, you have to fail, and then only you will succeed. And it's a long-term process. So that change your mind from the instant gratification and set up long-term goals. Okay. So when you have long-term goals and you keep working on it, you will achieve it someday. So that is important. Particularly, you need to have a long-term strategy for career and for relationships. Short-term strategies won't help you. And you have to take responsibility for your actions. In fact, Gandhiji said, this is an age when they are only thinking about their rights. I have a right to get up when I want. I have a right to dress what I want. I have a right to study what I want, which is fine. But as Gandhiji said, if everyone has a right to be independent, it is equally a responsibility to be interdependent. Okay, you must remember that you are not alone, that you are in a group. Okay, and you have a responsibility to your friends, your family, your school, your college, your community, and you have to be responsible about that. There is no one pill for handling this current crisis. Okay, this is, as I said, it's uncertainty. It is only when you're uncertain, then your true ability and resilience comes up. Okay, nobody has succeeded in this life without failures. Okay, so how we handle success does not determine our successful life. How we handle our failures determines how successful we are in our life. So learn to fail, learn to make mistakes, and learn from that mistakes. Only then growth will happen. So not to be bogged down or bowed down by any challenges is important. Finally, the most important thing now is in these uncertain times, when everything around us is not in chaotic, the only thing we can control is ourselves, which means we have to be balanced. Okay. And how do we achieve this balance? Regular physical activity, regular physical things like regular sleep, correct sleeping time. I was walking one day in the Anna University and I saw a group of 5 or 6 kids who are playing tennis, and they are talking and they are saying, look, this lockdown has completely disrupted my sleep schedule. I'm sleeping at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I'm not able to wake up. I am so happy the tennis started because I can get up. I know I have to get up. But now, even if I get up at 7 o'clock, I'm able to sleep only at 3 o'clock. So get your sleep cycle properly, eat healthy, be physically active, be mentally active, and be socially active. We all know that if we contribute a little bit to something else, even if you help an elderly man walk cross the road, you feel good that day. Okay. So do a little some good to anybody who comes across. It may not be big acts of charity. Okay. Small acts of kindness shown to another human being will make you feel good. Okay. So stay connected, stay positive, be flexible, improve your abilities, and take responsibilities. Then you will be able to navigate these difficult times and come out stronger and better and more humane.
Thank you, ma'am. That was very helpful. Next, we have Mr. Prince.
The video, please.
It's a beautiful video, Mr. Prince. Really well done.
Thank you. Cheerful good afternoon from SRMIST. I would like to welcome and congratulate you, dear students, for attending this webinar. I'm sure you all enjoyed the video. The reason I played the video, be it COVID or no COVID, students can still learn and enjoy college life. Thank you, Radhika, for the intro. On a lighter note, before I start, I'm tempted to say girl and woman empowerment is not near, but here. Thank you, three ladies, for making it happen, at least today. What is the purpose of this career guidance conclave by SRM powered by the Hindu? This gathering or conclave is organized to help and guide you students throughout India to make a mature and informed decision about your academic career. That is your journey of learning through school education to higher education, followed by the professional work and the progress you make in life. My co-panelists and experts very professionally educated you on important issues, and I'm going to continue, as Dr. Lakshmi said, in motivating you. So today, my speech will be a motivating speech during this COVID time. Today, we discuss about helping you students how to cope during COVID and how to navigate this difficult time to plan your course carefully and safely and travel your career's journey. As a student affairs professional, representing my university, SRMIST, our core work is always to guide, always to support, and always to help students in all situations, be it COVID or no COVID, academic, non-academic, normal or tense zone for the last many years. So I'm here to be more informative on what are the avenues available for you to be a successful student during normal, new normal, and difficult times. I'm sure most of you sitting at the comfort zone of your home are studying, studying, studying. Is it so? I can't say, but I know most of you are too much active in social media, as told earlier, constantly scrolling gadgets, not interested in acquiring new knowledge, sometimes irritated, sometimes disgusted with parents, not interested to open books, tensed and worried on the daily happenings, on the restrictions, lockdown, not able to play outside, and so on. If you have to navigate during difficult and competitive times, you need to realize, you need to introspect, and you need to understand who a student is first. For the last many years of my experience, I found this to be a big problem. If you understand who you are, then most of your issues are sorted. A student is central to education. Without a patient, there is no hospital or there is no doctor. Similarly, without a student, there is no school or college. There is no teacher or professor. So you are the central for education. I have three simple, thought-provoking questions for you today. How many of you students here are students? You might be wondering whether you heard the question right or if I have made an error. You all will say, of course I am. You also may wonder why I asked such a question. I too agree that you all are students, but the answer to the question still remains incomplete. So my second question is, what do you mean by a student? Or who is a student? Usually, less than 50% will know the answer and say, a student is the one who studies or gets educated. My third and last question is, what do you mean by education or studies? I have seen in my experience only 5 to 10% answer this question. Gandhiji beautifully defined education as an all-round progress. He said, by education, I mean an all-round drawing out of the best in body, mind, and spirit. He meant education is not only mental progress, but physical and social well-being too. So now you understand who a student should be. A complete and wholesome student is the one who enjoys academics as well as utilizes all the extracurricular and co-curricular activities for his or her holistic development for a successful career. You can navigate COVID-19 only when you understand who you ought to be. The main problem is not COVID-19 alone, but you students not understanding what true education is or who you ought to be. Most think passing the exam means studies. Most think getting a certificate means it's the end of studies. A certificate marks oriented mindset and not skill based. This is the most important challenge to tackle to develop your career. You know why I say this? There are about 260 million school students and 40 million college students in India, around 150 million schools and more than 52,000 higher education institutes. India has world's second largest school system and the third largest in higher education. Every year, admissions increase due to country's youth bulge and also due to increased access to education. Every 5 years, the student population in the school system grows by 5%, equivalent to 12 million students. So, what are the reasons? Why you're not able to cope up or navigate in difficult situations? There is greater pressure than ever on every year's new batch of students. Highly competitive generation, millions competing each other, self-narrowed course choice by students. Example, most want to do MBBS in medicine or computer science and engineering, so not able to cope up with competition. Copycat course likeness. My friend liked this, so I wanted to join this course. My relative liked this, I wanted to join this course. Financial problems and family pressures make you difficult in coping. Peer pressure and peer perception. What will they think? Will they think low about me if I take this course? And attributing undue prestige for a particular study course. Not able to cope when denied the first choice of course. So settling for what you get. And finally, landing in an unexpected course, in an unexpected place, in an unexpected culture makes navigating difficult. Finally, transition from a comfortable and secure environment of your home makes coping difficult. So the difficulties faced by students, proved by research says, the most difficult is coping with social life. It is not with studies, as we all think. The next difficulty is coping with studies, followed by difficulty in coping with isolation and loneliness, then difficulty balancing time and studies, finally, financial difficulties. In addition, at present, the challenges faced by you during COVID are manifold. Making friends is harder, losing on campus life, online learning, unsure about the future. That's why during COVID, you need experiences and involvement in addition to your academics, interest and attachment in addition to your academics, health and well-being in addition to your academics, security and discipline in addition to your academics, protection and prosperity in addition to your academics. Then you will find success as a student academically and holistically. So, as you are transiting from school to college, you should select a college or a university where the concept of the students, by the students, and for the students is prevailing, where a student body is there to learn and to lead, where an exclusive department or directorate for students is present. In SRM, even during COVID, you have avenues to explore various options in addition to academics, like participating in various events, involving in clubs and houses, involving in sports, getting counseling services, having access to effective grievance redressal mechanism, involving in social service and community service, finally achieving both in studies as well as in your skills. So if you are talented, are passionate about dance, music, fashion, games, we give you a support system to develop and explore your passions and talents. For example, if you're good in dance, you not only come and dance, you can teach others. And if you don't know anything about dance, you can come here and even learn dance. Similarly, it applies to music, literature, many things, and many different areas we provide for. For example, we have numerous achievers, wholesome students of SRMIST excelling in their careers. You would have read Netra Kumanan, the second-year BTech student, has become the first Indian woman to qualify for the Olympics this year. Arjun Kalyan, our BCom student, has become India's 68th Grandmaster in chess recently. Malvika Bansud, first-year BTech student, is an international shuttler. Many students have achieved. Past students like Murali Vijay, the Indian cricketer, he's an MBA student. Varun Chakravarti, an architect who became an international cricketer. Many are excelling in academics, sports, fashion, cinema, music, Indian administrative and police service, etc. That's why you need to study in a higher education institute where you will be supported by professionals in a holistic way in your entire duration of study, especially during this very crucial period of COVID, where each and every student as deemed fit is helped, where you get support, advice, guidance when facing difficulties to cope. You have to take a very important decision which will decide your future and career. Your next 4 to 5 years of study will decide the next 50 years of your life. First, you should decide about what you want to learn. Second, the selected subject should be your favorite. Third, you should also be good in it. Most important, you should find a course in a college or university which teaches is good. There are many courses in different streams. Course fee can be taken care by government loans. You need to look out for life diversity and quality learning experience for academic success in your education. So, dear students, develop yourself as a whole and complete student, both inside and outside the classroom. Every teacher once was a student. Every winner once was a loser. Every expert once was a beginner. But all of them have crossed the bridge called learning. But all of them have crossed the bridge called learning. Similarly, you will say one day, I was a student during Corona times. I lost on all privileges of any normal day, but now I'm a winner. Also, you all would have crossed the bridge called learning. So convert this adversity, COVID, to advantage. I would like to quote Aristotle, the great philosopher and scientist, who said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. So I encourage you to educate your heart and its passions, along with educating your mind to add immense value to your career. As you have seen in the video, our students are engaged positively and are given the experiences and opportunities to develop their passions and skills even during Corona to help them for a successful career. I wish you, on behalf of SRMIST, for a lifelong learning and learning for life so that you can learn, leap, and lead, and thus overcoming the COVID crisis with the slogan, we shall overcome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that extremely motivational speech. I'm sure the students feel pepped up. So we have a lot of questions coming our way, so I'm just going to go directly to the questions. I'm just going to address each of these questions to each one of you. I'm going to start with Dr. Vijay Kumar. Ma'am, since you had said that we should also remain socially active despite restrictions and lockdown, one student has asked, ma'am, how can we be socially active during the lockdown?
Yeah, the thing is, instead of having virtual friends, you have your classmates. Okay, you can form a group within the classmates or within your cousins, within your schoolmates or whoever it is. Okay, and you can be socially active in developing something. You can have a quiz competition amongst yourself. You can have an eloquation competition amongst yourself. Okay, and even during this lockdown period, if there is a friend who is also tested, who is also fine, and you're also fine, you can meet up. It's not that it is you should not meet up. Okay, all I'm saying is don't make only virtual friends. Connect with friends whom you know, or develop friends whom you can meet, may not touch or feel, but you can see and talk and spend time with.
Right, yes. Nandini, one student asks, how can we concentrate on our studies when there is so much distraction around us?
Yeah, I think that's a very valid question, but I think it's really about focusing on what is it that you want. And I think I'd like to reiterate what Mr. Prince spoke about. And I think he was beautiful when he said that what is it that you want for yourself? And I want you to know that you have the power to be whoever it is that you want to be. How badly do you want it? And there are always going to be distractions. Today it's COVID, tomorrow it's going to be a relationship, day after it's going to be finances, so there are always going to be these blocks. But how focused are you that you make sure that I'm going to go and I'm just going to gun for it with blinders, because this is your life, and it's really in your hands. And I'm not saying no to complete distractions, but as long as you're able to moderate them, as long as you're able to balance, I think that's what we're talking about, right?
Right.
Sure.
Mr. Prince, some students, this has come from at least 2 or 3 students, they have said, do you think there will be new careers coming out from now on because of the pandemic? Do you think the pandemic will give rise to new kinds of careers? And has it changed the whole scenario of how one should choose a career?
If they would have listened to my talk, they will understand it much better. Careers will not come. You have to make a career, right? So I always tell my students, innovate something, think innovatively. So even, for example, even if for example, you want to shine in your passions, innovate it something different so that you can niche out a career for yourself. And no one else I can say about myself, because I have uh, taken on in avenues where many people would not have ventured. I have worked in war zones. So I've taken a career on that, So students, understand this. Don't look out for a job or something, someone will place a career. You try to develop your own career.
Right. Dr. Vijay Kumar, one student has asked, how significant is psychology in India?
I would say that it was not significant before. But with the pandemic, I think everybody has understood that, because this single, simple, primitive organism, which does not even have a DNA, has affected the entire population. And I would say the mental health issues are the shadow epidemic of this pandemic. So people have realized the importance of mental health. So when you talk about mental health, psychology, of course, definitely plays a part. So many people have started focusing on how important. See, before people used to focus on physical health, exercise, diet, keep yourself fit, okay? But nobody tells you how to keep yourself mentally fit, okay? So, but that has gained currency now. People talk about yoga, meditation, you know, various other aspects. So, it is important that we give importance to mental health, has at least registered amongst people, which I think is an important lesson we have learned during this pandemic.
Right. Ma'am, actually, I'm just going to direct another question at you also, because this has come from 2, 3 students. One of them has said that he or she feels very lonely and depressed and is unable to come out of it. And I quote the student, I'm struggling to find some ways to feel relaxed. So could you please help me with my mental health? An earlier student had said that he or she was feeling very depressed and was also struggling to deal with suicidal thoughts.
Okay. Now, depression is a very common, I mean, it is, sometimes we say it is a very tepid word for such a strong emotion. Okay. And many of us feel depressed. And when you lose your job, when you lose your friend, when you lose money, whatever it is. But depression as a illness is very devastating. It cripples you. You're not able to think, you're not able to get up, you're not able to motivate yourself, you're not able to do anything. So when you are consistently depressed for the last 2 weeks, when you cannot find any pleasure in anything for the last 2 weeks, then we say there is a high chance that you have clinical depression. And when you have clinical depression, you need to reach out for help to any mental health professional. Okay. But there are various stages of depression. For mild to moderate depression, we now say behavioral activation is good enough. So, what is this behavioral activation? That is every day a morning walk, at least half an hour on the terrace or anywhere, is extremely useful, because when you exercise in the morning, your body releases endorphins, which are natural antidepressants. Okay. Number two is keep yourself mentally occupied. Do some puzzles, or even if you are not able to study, do some Sudoku, do some puzzles, do some word games, challenge your mind. Okay. And then stay connected. See, this is an opportunity for you to connect with your family, to connect with your elders, and to connect with your friends. Okay. And stay connected. If you are able to do this, mild to moderate depression can be handled. But even after trying all this, you are not able to do that, then talk about your feelings to some friend, somebody, reach out for somebody. And even if we have stages, okay? So even if talking about how you feel to somebody else does not help, then it is time you talk to a mental health professional and say that this is consistently has been with me for the last 3 weeks. I'm not able to get out of it. And then the mental health professional can decide whether counseling and psychotherapy is, or what we call as cognitive behavior therapy, is enough, or you may require some medication. Whenever people talk about medication, they think, oh, psychiatric drugs, it's big. Nothing like that. Now we have a variety of medication which does not have many side effects, and you take it for a short time. See, when you have tuberculosis, or when you have typhoid or malaria, you go to your doctor, take the medication, and you become all right. Like that, you can become all right. You don't have to suffer in silence. The problem is majority of the people with anxiety or depression suffer in silence. The most important thing is to recognize it, reach out, and you can choose what kind of treatment you want. Okay. And become better.
Right. Thank you. To the other students who have asked the same question, please also understand that you should always reach out if you can, and that, ma'am, please do check the Sneha website, and they have numbers, so you can always call them if you are not able to cope. Nandini, the next question. How do we decide that a particular course is our calling? Is it wrong to be indecisive? And how do we overcome this dilemma?
No, it's not wrong. I think most of us, dabbled with a few career choices before we ended up actually being successful with whatever it is that we are doing or whatever we are accomplished with today, right? So it's perfectly fine. You're very young. I think this is about another discussion for another time, that the educational system is such that, at a tender age of 16, 17, you need to decide your professional course, or, subjects that you're actually going to, that are going to lead up into a career choice, right? But I think narrowing down a choice of subjects and further enhancing your career is really about what is it that you're really passionate about, something that you really get excited with, you look forward to, and is going to be effortless for you to get out of bed every single day of your life, right? If I didn't enjoy doing this, I'm just going to be looking at the watch and saying, oh my god, how much longer, right? So I think you really need to spend some time and draw a list of your strengths, your weaknesses, also examine your skill sets, and those are the easiest to actually equip. Once you understand that, yeah, these are the skill sets that I don't have, right, you can always certify. There are courses, there are trainings, there are internships, so there is a lot that you can do. But I think the only homework that you need to do is a deep, sincere introspection. What is something that brings me joy? What is something that I enjoy, and what is it that I am best at? Because when you are really able to resonate with that, I think half of the battle is won. The other half is only equipping the education and the courses and all of that. But yeah, and don't let it overwhelm you. There are enough and more clients who have the perfect IIT IIM, and then they become a yoga guru, or they are trekking, or they are teaching mindfulness, or they are doing organic farming. So follow your heart, but yes, work hard and be sincere to what it is that you want.
Right. Mr. Prince, I'm going to combine three questions for you because they're all interrelated. So one student asked, how do I beat procrastination? I'd like to know that too. And then someone else asked, how do we deal with low productivity? And how do we overcome demotivation and stress?
See, that's what the simple answer is. You should love what you do. If you do something what you don't love, definitely you'll be demotivated. That's what I said, the reasons when I talked. You should think and be sincere to yourself. And even if parents are listening to this, that's for the parents also, because many a time, because many students have come to me have said, like for example, my father didn't, he could not become a doctor, so he wanted me to be a doctor. So you have to love what you do, and though there might be certain starting glitches for you, you take a decision, convince everybody, then maybe during your life's journey, you'll be really successful. So in that way, you will not be demotivated. Definitely. Demotivation happens only when you do something what you don't like, or your inner self doesn't address that, what you do.
Right. Another student, so I'm going to direct this question at you. Another student says, how can we prepare for board exams when everything is so uncertain?
Yes. See, it's whether it's COVID or no COVID, the stress on the students is ever increasing. I too have a daughter who is in 12th standard now. I know that. And every year, as I said, every year the new batch of students, be it COVID or no COVID, in India, because of the statistics, what I said, millions of students competing against each other, there is going to be tremendous stress. That's why you need to understand exactly what you want to do. See, for example, as you say, yeah, board exams, I absolutely agree. But nowadays, if in many universities or colleges, you just need to get that minimal marks like 60%, then you are eligible for admissions. So you take it cool. And one more thing I just like to advise, not advise, in India, we drain all our energy in till 12th standard. And when we come and join the college, you are completely drained. So you don't become a good, or don't try to shine in your profession, as far as I have seen, like, because you feel like I want to enjoy the college, but it should be opposite. Just take it cool, do your board exams well. No need that everyone should get 98 or 99. You keep certain target, decent score of 70, 80, get into a good course, but put all your energy, your interest in the profession or the professional course what you take. Then really your life will have a turning point, and you will really be a successful student. So just take your board exam school, and believe me, your marks are not going to take you anywhere.
Right. I'm just going to direct another question at each one of you before we wrap up. Dr. Vijay Kumar, and you've already touched upon this, but two students have asked, what other skills can we develop at this time?
Skills is, I think the most important thing we need to develop at this time is belief in ourselves. I think most of the students at this time, their value about themselves come from outside, external. If the friends say you're beautiful, or if the teacher says you're intelligent, you feel like that. Okay. So what is important is to improve your belief in yourself. Okay. In fact, I was just telling, one student was saying, look, everybody says follow your passion. The fact is, I don't have a passion. I am a very ordinary person. I just go to chill out and I don't have anything which grabs me. So what do I do? I mean, everybody says, go for your passion, I don't have. I said, you don't need to. As long as you're comfortable with yourself and you have belief in yourself and you're honest and hardworking, you will be successful. You don't have to, everybody need not aspire for the pole star. Okay. We can be as good as anybody else. We have a saying, I'm as good as anybody else. That's the feeling which each student should have. Okay. I may not be the smartest, I may not be the brilliant singer, I may not be the best cricketer, but I am a good person and I'm willing to work hard. And that is what will carry you through. So believe in yourself that you're honest and you're hardworking and you will succeed. That self-belief is what is important in life.
Right. So since you mentioned that student saying that, he or she does not have a particular passion, another student has said, ma'am, I have lots of interests and everyone says focus on one. So how can I do that?
No, this is the time for her to experiment.
Yeah.
Okay. If she has lots of interests, then she let her experiment with all the interests. And then she will find one interest which she is more, which grabs her more than the other interests. Okay. Right. It is good to be jack of all trades. It is good to be master of one. It is good. Everything is okay. So only thing is just don't compare yourself with anybody else or compare yourself with anything, and believe that you can be as good as you can be. A good mental health comes when you are able to accept your pluses and minuses and try to work on your minuses. That's all. Okay. So have belief in yourself that you will succeed, then you will succeed. So even if you have the best IQ and if you have the best college degree, if you don't have belief in yourself, I have not seen anybody succeeding.
Right. I think this also answers Harshit, no, so not Harshit, I'm sorry. Oh, this is an anonymous question which says, some people seem to succeed in life despite getting low marks in school. Why is that? So I guess we have the answer to that. Okay, board exams.
So I also would like to say something.
Sure, yes, ma'am.
About our education system.
Right.
See, the COVID has brought us to our knees. But if at all there is a silver lining, you will find that in the last year, the number of students ending their life because of exam failure is in double digit, whereas it used to be 2,500 every year. So it's high time educationalists, parents, teachers, everybody think about this. See, every year we used to lose 2,500 students because of exam failure. Last year, we have just lost in double digit. Okay, we are in effect 2,500, 400 lives are saved. Okay, so it is high time we as adults also introspect and see what we are doing to push these children.
Right. Mr. Prince, one student has asked, how do we accept criticism and learn from it?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Criticism makes you to learn, because when you do something, you're attracting the attention of that person to criticize you, right? So you have something. So all the people who have attained, that's what I said, no, success, they have always faced failures. So failures start not from the outcome, it starts from the inside, what you start thinking. So try to take the criticisms positively and build on it, and introspect yourself whether that criticism is constructive to think about or it is destructive. If it is constructive, work on it and you can overcome it and you'll be a successful person. If you think that's simply a destructive criticism just to demean you, just throw it. Don't worry.
Right.
That's it.
This is a question I think we have already addressed. How can we manage time and focus on our studies? Do marks really define us, Nandini? I think a
No,
lot of students are asking this.
yes,
They just want to be reassured that it really
yes,
does not define them.
absolutely they don't, and it is your journey and not the destination alone. But I'd be lying if I'm telling you that they don't matter. They matter just a tiny bit, because whatever it is that you want to do, right? A course that you want to further enroll into, a PG course, a undergrad course, a professional course, unfortunately, we're still governed by a cutoff. And every year it is just becoming more and more and more aggressive. So you have children. I remember when we were in school, and if you didn't take sciences, people would look at you and say, "Oh, ye to duffer hai, she's taking arts or humanities." And today, the cutoff for arts and humanities is 98% plus. And I'd go further to generalize and make a statement that it's not difficult for a pure science student to actually, score 90s and 90 plus, because those subjects you really can score. But in humanities, it's really, really hard. So don't kill yourself. Enjoy the course, enjoy the subject, make sure that you're gaining knowledge, and you're able to really, really stay connected with what the learning is. Because it's not really all about the marks. But yes, unfortunately, it's a double-edged sword. The marks are important because they would decide, your future prospects in terms of college admissions, applications, scholarships, so on and so forth. Yeah, but not at the cost of you becoming anxious, not being able to stay functional all the time, hyperventilating, not eating, not sleeping, studying 18 hours. Nothing warrants that at all.
I'd just like to add, so we are expecting the new education, policy. No? So it's going to be implemented soon. And I think the experts have taken this view very seriously. And I assure you students that uh, definitely there will be a bigger change and there will not be so much pressure relating to marks. Because in my experience, to be very honest, believe me, I have seen people who are successful in their careers, were not that top creamy. There are many students, but still there were many people who were an average student, but they made their career a successful one. So as Nandini was saying, yes, marks are something, but it is not everything. As I told you earlier, try for some decent marks, and you have lot of avenues, lot of courses, many new courses are coming. And yes, last time someone asked a question for career courses. Yes, there will come many courses are going to come. The new education policy also is going to address this in a very big way. So be positive. There is a change coming to us in India in general, and the college education system in particular.
Mr. Prince, just taking off from your previous answer on dealing with criticism,
Yeah,
one student has pertinently asked, how do I know if the criticism that I've got is constructive or destructive?
that you have to introspect. Because see, for example, there may be some good qualities in you. Just to demean you, somebody might criticize. So you just cannot take that destructive criticism, and you should not fall into prey for that and get demotivated, or to say get into a depressive mode or something. That is not needed. So you know about yourself, so please assess yourself. That's what I said. Be sincere to yourself, not to anybody else. And if it is a constructive thing you think that is pulling you down, if you rectify that, if you feel in such a way, please take it, work on it. Whoever said it has in fact uh, given you a tip for your improvement. Thank them. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, one
Yes, ma'am.
easy way to say whether the criticism is constructive or destructive is to think, okay, with that criticism, am I going to become better?
Hmm.
If I'm going to become better, it is constructive. If I'm not going to become better, then I ignore it.
Right. Ma'am, I'm directing the last question at you. So one student has said that he is very introverted and finds it very difficult to make friends and wants to know how to deal with that.
Okay, see, all of us are different. Some people are extroverted. They are the center of a party. If you have 15 people, they'll be the center. Some people are introverted, they do not. But it is not the extroversion or introversion which defines the quality of friendships. Okay. An extrovert may have 100 people as friends. Okay. But when the chips come down, they may, the only two or three people may be there to help him. So an introvert need not try to become extrovert, because when you try to be something which you are not, then you are stressing yourself. And I want to be like him, I want to be like her, I want to have 10 friends, I want to be called the most popular parties or things like that. Then you are stressing yourself too much. Okay. But even if you're an introvert, you can form relationships. Have 2, 3 good relationships. You just look at anybody. It is only three or a handful of friends who are there with you for life. Okay. So to form friendships on a one-to-one, he may not be good in a group of 15 people, but that person may be good on a one-to-one relationship. So find somebody who shares your common interests, develop one friend, okay, over a period of 3 months, and then one more friend. So if you have 3 or 4 good friends, that is more than enough for life. Okay, you don't have to change yourself, but make an effort to form friendships. Okay, you cannot sit alone in your room and just watch Instagram and WhatsApp and say that I don't know, I have no friends. Okay, so you have to make an effort, find out 1 or 2 people whom you can gel with, or who have common interests or common place from which you come from, and start talking. Make an effort to talk. Okay, and it is possible to form 2 or 3 group friends, and if you have 2 or 3 good friends, that is enough. But if you want to be in the center of 50 group of 50 people and be a party person, then you will not be, and you'll not be happy with yourself also, because you'll always be thinking you have not succeeded in that. Okay, so don't try to change yourself completely. People try to, particularly in this age, they try to change themselves completely, and that makes them more miserable. Okay, accept who you are, say I am an introvert. Okay, so I will have 2 or 3 good friends, and that's fine with me. And then you'll find gradually as you grow, you'll have your group of solid friends or more.
Right.
I'd just like to add to that, Radhika. I'll just take
Sure.
a minute. I think in addition to everything that ma'am said, I just want to also add that, you have different needs that are fulfilled by different groups of friends, right? So you will always in life have different affiliations to a different group. I have a different study group. I have a different hangout group. I have a different exercise group. I have a different, counselors group. So identify, if not that 1 or 2 friendships, what are the kind of groups that actually nurture you? And it's not about, having 120 likes on your Insta post that actually determines you having lots of friends or no friends, right? So yeah, I just wanted to add that in.
Right.
Yeah, but the kids nowadays, if they don't have, I mean, I have seen girls crying. She has got more likes than me. I know that the number of likes determines their social status. Okay, so don't get bogged down in that. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Before I thank you all, I thought I would just end with 2 very sweet things that the students have said about you. So one student has thanked both you, Dr. Jayakumar, and Ms. Nandini for recognizing the fact that students go through anxiety and depression, because I think a lot of people don't recognize that students face such issues and probably ask them to just sort of snap out of it or get over it or whatever. So one student has said thank you for recognizing this problem. And Mr. Prince, one student wants to know how he can speak like you and says you have a lot of swag. So thank you again for being with us today. Thank you to the panelists for speaking about the kinds of challenges that students are facing during this pandemic, how they can negotiate and navigate these challenges, and for inspiring them to think beyond just their studies and to focus importantly on their mental and physical well-being. We were very lucky to have all of you here today, and thank you for taking time off on a Saturday and being with us. Students, thank you so much for participating in this and for asking such pertinent questions. We really hope that this helped you all. Please remember that everybody is going through a bad time. It's not just you, and that we will all come out of it together. And just thank you for taking the time off to participate in this today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. My complete pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Radhika. Thank you, my panelists. Thank you, students.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.